Right, it's the Northern Boy Show. Hello.
And welcome back, people. This
Hello,
week
people.
we're going to be talking about mind palaces and our interpretation thereof.
The Mind Palace.
But before that, we have 2-3 more questions from you lovely people about what's going on.
Keep them coming, folks, by the way.
them coming.
Love
We
the
love the
questions.
questions.
I'd love to do a whole show just
On
with your questions.
Live.
Live. Oh, fucking hell. Yeah, great.
First question is from Dreco3681. This is a question for you, Kev. Is Kev purely a dancer, like Bez from the Happy Mondays, or will we get to hear his angelic tones at some point?
I think you'll get me belly dancing before you get my tones.
That's Betty's on form now.
He's doing well. You're doing well, Kevlar. Can I just tell a story about when we gave him a line in a song?
Yeah, go on then.
Yeah, we gave him a line. We were making a video. It was actually in Sutton Park, wasn't it?
I can't remember.
Yeah, it was in Sutton
With the
Park.
cows.
Yeah, and that was it. We gave you the line, do you want to make love to a sad old man? And we did take after take after fucking take.
And could we
yeah.
get him sad?
But we had a great finish to it, though. That's when I pissed in the bush at the end of the video.
Oh, that was brilliant, that was.
Yeah.
That was a great finish. Big finish there from Kevlar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, next question, please.
Okay, next question.
Thank you.
We've got one here from... We've got another one from Uncle John.
Oh!
Uncle John is back again.
Wow.
And Uncle John has said, have the boys ever gone metal detecting? If so, what's the best bit of metal they've ever detected?
The silence was deafening, wasn't it? I've never actually done metal detecting.
No, I don't think I have. Although I did detect some metal.
Yeah.
In the garden of one of the houses years and years and years ago. I was quite young. I think I was just, I don't know, helping my dad with the garden, digging or whatever, and I found this little coin. It was really scruffy. It was a really scruffy coin, and I cleaned it up a bit. But it was, I don't even know what denomination of coin it was, but it was from the reign of Charles I.
Wow.
Fucking hell.
I know. I know.
Amazing.
That would have been worth a pretty penny.
Well, I don't think it was because it was a bit battered, you see. And the only reason I knew it was Charles I, because the only words you can make out were Carolus one. Well, Carolus is Latin for Charles.
That's the king that had his head chopped
yeah,
off.
That's him.
Yeah.
But I took it to the local museum and said, look, is this worth anything? He went, well, unfortunately not, because it's too battered. You know.
But they kept it a bit, didn't they?
I don't know. It wouldn't have bothered me because I couldn't do anything with it. So that's the only bit of metal detecting I've ever done that was any good.
I once got a stamp valued.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'd had it for years and years, and I'd always thought I should get that valued because it had a flaw on it.
Ah.
There was ink. There was gold. You know, the head of the Queen.
Oh yeah.
It was dripping down the stamp.
Wow.
Yeah, so I thought, oh, this. And I kept thinking, really, because I'd had it since I was like 12. And it was this was only last year. So I took it to... no, I didn't take it. You can photograph them and send them into Stanley... Gibbons, yeah, whatever the fuck the name is. So I sent it in thinking, this is going to come back. This is going to be it. I'm finally going to have some fucking money in the bank. And it came back. He went, yeah, the floor's not quite that good. You probably get 20 quid for it. And there was me after 40, 50 years of having this stamp.
20 quid.
20 quid.
Well, I
Not bad for a 4D stamp, though, is it?
no, not at all. No. I had a big regret some years ago. I actually lent my only small record collection to the girl in the downstairs flat. And amongst those records was one of the very first records I ever bought. And it was... what was his name? Oh, he did What Would You Do If I Sang... Joe Cocker. It was Joe Cocker's first big hit, right? And I bought this single, got it home, and then I went to put it on the record player, and I thought, oh, I wonder what's on the other side. Oh, it's the same. Oh.
Ooh.
So I put it on. One side was the main song. Turned it over. The label says it was the same, but it wasn't.
Right.
So it was a mistake with the same label on both sides. Never got it back. Never got it back. Never knew it. Never heard what happened to it. I think that could have been a one-off that would have been worth a bloody fortune.
Could have been.
But you live and learn.
I almost nicked the record My Bonnie by the Beatles.
Really?
Yeah, My Bonnie, for those of you that don't know, is the first ever record the Beatles were on. The reason that was going to nick it was, like I say, it was the first record they ever did. And I thought, I'm going to get this because the guy that had the record didn't know.
The value.
Didn't know it was the Beatles and that. And it was my mate from school. But then I thought...
Well, I'm glad you didn't steal it off.
Yeah, but I'm kind of thinking, I wonder if he just threw that away and never actually...
Yeah, you actually wonder.
You never know, do you, mate?
All right, so there we are. That's what we got about.
Yeah, so-
Yeah, one more, yeah.
We've got one more final question. This is from Diva Roach.
Hey, like her.
And this is, what was the boys' most terrifying experiences?
Right, okay.
Oh, that was the girl that... no, most terrifying experiences. The husband knocking on my front door
While you're banging somebody else.
of the woman I lost... the woman I lost my virginity to.
Oh, my God.
I got woken up at 4 a.m. Yeah.
That would be terrifying. Well,
Would be slightly.
I think I've already mentioned my terrifying experiences. They're all really probably about the same level of terrifaction.
Of what?
Terrification.
That's a good word.
Terrifyingness. I think maybe one I've not told you, but I had the experience in that castle where I felt as though 3 times I felt it in the toilets, I saw it in the window, and I felt it in the
You felt what in the toilet,
you
sorry?
know, yeah, there was nobody but me, and my thing shrank very rapidly when I was frightened as I was. Anyway, so similar experience, which was probably more terrifying because it was unexpected. But a friend of mine had just bought this lovely new house in a little country village not far from here. He'd invited us over, for a beer and to look at his new house. He was very proud of it. So my wife and I went and we had a look. He gave us all around downstairs and blah, blah. I said, do you want to sit upstairs as well? I said, yeah, come on then. So we go upstairs. My mate and my missus turned right at the top of the stairs and went into what was a fairly large bedroom. But I turned left into this other room. And I'd only gone 2 steps when I got that attack, that racing pulse, feeling of, bad feeling. The temperature was at least 5 degrees colder, and just there was an overall sense of doom. And my missus, God, what's the matter with you? I said, I can't go in there. So I can't go in there. I need to go and sit down. I had to go and sit down in his bathroom for about at least 20 minutes because I was convinced there was a malevolent presence. Absolutely malevolent. My mate, I said, you never felt like he went, nah. I said, well, I did. Honestly, I was terrified. My pulse rate was about 220, I think, which is short, not far short of maximum.
Go on then, Kev.
I haven't had any, mate.
No terrifying experiences? No near misses in your car?
No.
No bad things on a plane?
No.
That's why he's so even-keeled, That's why he's so chilled.
Actually,
that's why
I know what it is. It's because you are the terrifying thing.
I probably am.
That's what it is.
What terrifies the terrifying
I was in
thing?
an aeroplane once that nearly run out of fuel and we hadn't got enough to land.
Nearly ran out of fuel. But he didn't run out of
Like,
fuel.
it didn't quite. We got down because he's very clever, the pilot, and he sort of drifted us and
That's what we get
so
paid to
on,
do.
things, etc.
My heart ended up in my mouth when we were flying over to the Netherlands.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, do you remember when what had happened? It suddenly dropped the plane very, very sharply. It was
Oh,
a
I
bang.
remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, because another plane about 500 feet beneath us passed right underneath us and took away our lift. So there was a
Oh,
boom and it
it's
dropped.
dropped.
Just, and I
Was
just
I,
went,
was I on the same plane?
you must have been.
Yeah.
So what was I drinking? 'Cause I don't remember that.
Yeah, I think when it happened, you just went, what was that?
Yeah, I think I remember. I remember.
Nice
it.
little,
Sorry.
nice little shot I've got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for your questions, guys. Keep them coming in through the Cindy World Discord. And we're now going to move on to the Mind Palace.
The Mind Palace,
Right,
Palace,
right.
Palace.
Now,
Dum, dum, dum,
I have
dum,
to, I have to
dum, dum.
confess, this is not my idea. All right, this is something I picked up. Well, I picked up two things really. I can't remember which order I picked them up in, but I call it Mind Palace because I saw it on the television version of Sherlock Holmes with Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah, it's also in Hannibal Lecter.
Well,
He uses a mind palace as well.
I haven't seen that film, but it's a memory aid, a mind palace. It's a memory aid. So you try and box or bottle or cage or capture every experience that you have and put it in a mind palace room. Now, I came across that after I came across another version of it. I use the phrase mind palace because it's easy to explain when people say to me, so, you know, how do you remember lots and lots of words all at the same time? Well, that's how I do it. But when I was teaching, I did. I think it might have been. I might have been an educational drama course, and this chap was saying, "Well, there's a really good memory technique I can teach you all if you'd like." I said, "Yes, please, yes, please." So I said, "Well, here's how it goes." He says, "First of all, let's pick a reason for it in teaching." So I said, "Well, spelling." He went, "That's a great one. That's a wonderful one because spelling is one word, right? So you've got one object to think about. So let's start with that one. Okay, now you've got to decide where your mind palace is. So you need to pick a building that you are really familiar with, one that you could walk in the dark, blindfold, and know exactly where you were, you know, to find your way around." That's fine, yeah.
All right, that's
All right,
That's
so
interesting.
that's that. So I'm thinking, well, at the time I was teaching in this junior school, or junior/middle school, and that was very easy. It was a very simple layout. And in fact, I still use that as my main mind palace. So he said, right, spelling, let's pick a word. And he just picked a word randomly out of thin air. He said, salmon, okay? We're talking about 7, 8, 9, 10-year-olds. Salmon's sounds easy, but it isn't because it's got a silent letter in it. So here's what we do. We look at the word, we visualise it, and then we imagine what that is. And it's a fish, isn't it? So this fish is flapping about inside room 1. So your room 1 will be the reception office, okay? So you go into the reception office and you get slapped in the gob by this huge fish. All right? It slaps you around the face until you remember what it is. Oh, yeah, that's a salmon. Oh, yeah, I know. Right. So you have to exaggerate whatever the object is, okay? And that will stick it in your mind. So then you move on to the next room, on your list. Well, the next room in this place was the head's office. So fine. So whatever object, I mean, I can't remember the actual words and stuff that I did. But what I used to do, I had a class of, I ever think how old they would be. They would be probably what you would call top juniors. So they'd be 10 years old, right? They'd be 10 years old, going on 11, okay? And I would start it off with it simple. I said, right, folks, I'm going to teach you a memory technique. I want you to work on it. Here's how it goes. We'll all use the same mind palace, which is the office, head's office, deputy head's office, staff room, toilet. And when you come out into the hall, you decide what you want to do from there, okay? But I'm going to give you 10 words, all right? 10 spellings, okay? I'm going to write them down, take them home, but I want you to put these words into the mind palace, okay? Because next week, or at the end of the week, I'm going to give you a test. And I'm not going to ask you to spell salmon. I'm going to ask you to spell the word that's fourth on the list.
Oh, I see. I see, yeah.
And then the word that's sixth on the list. And then the word that's last on the list. And then the word that's first on the list. So they didn't know what the word was without digging into the palace.
Oh, right.
And do you know what? Half a dozen of those kids got it right every time. 6 kids got it, all of them right every time.
That's brilliant.
Serious. Honestly, it was... I tell you what, I was scared at how good the results were. You know, some of the kids couldn't cope because they just didn't have the imagination. And they were, you know, I think you need relatively bright kids to be picking up on the technique and stuff. But it works a treat. Especially for me at my age now, trying to memorise stuff. The Mind Palace is it's just so helpful. But the thing is, you've got to go over it and over it. You know, you just got to go over it and over it. And honestly, it's fascinating.
Do you find it easy to remember new songs?
Well, no, I don't. I mean, you blurt out all the stuff, you know, but you don't memorise any of it, particularly. I mean, some of the phrases you do because you've invented them and stuff. But
what's amazing is how you manage to do it. Because you both do it very well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he works hard a different way, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I just use the Mind Palace because I find it works for me.
Yeah, it was interesting. As it's not in the film, it's in the book with Lecter and his Mind Palace, and there's a thing in it because I forget the author's name, but he pushes it to the absolute limit where Lecter gets, I think someone brands him, but he doesn't flinch, and it takes you into his head and his Mind Palace. And it's basically the reason Lecter doesn't flinch is he's running down the corridor to the third room, and in there is his favourite statue of Venus de Milo of marble, and he pushes his face against the cold marble, which eases the pain of the brand, you know. And that's the first time that I'd heard about that.
Yeah, well, that's kind of a proactive Mind Palace, isn't it? Mine's just a memory aid, really.
Well, yeah, he says that's how he is so super intelligent.
Yeah.
Well, he can remember everything.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know Sherlock Holmes is fictitious, but it wouldn't surprise me if he didn't work with techniques like that. I don't know. I've not read the stories. I've not read the. Forgot the guy's name now. Doctor.
Rice?
No.
Something right?
No. Egg fried rice.
No, the author.
No, it's Conan Doyle.
Arthur Conan
Sir.
Doyle.
Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, yeah. No, I've not read it. I've not asked. Well, I don't think I have anyway. But I ought to have a look and see if it is part of Arthur Conan Doyle's thing or not. But yeah, it's. I mean, it is a mission, depending on how much you've got to do, right? Because sometimes, like with words, there are too many items. My mind palace isn't very big. It's not like Sherlock Holmes's with 1,000 rooms. Mine isn't. Mine's got about, I don't know, 12, 15 at the most. But, you know, if you ask me now which verse or ask me which room the last verse of my Sindhu sesh was, I could tell you right now.
Ah.
It's in the first room in the corridor where Mrs. Bean used to teach the first years, or whatever they called them in those days.
Cool.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
Yeah. And I deliberately placed certain verses in rooms where the teachers that use those rooms triggered a memory. You know what I mean? Yeah, it works. It works very well. It works very well. But I do have to keep working on it as well.
Yeah, I might have a go at that. I often wonder what the... Because you remember when we were kids, we used to remember everyone's phone number. You remember that? When you always knew the phone number of your mates and...
Yeah.
Well, that lot.
Because it was exciting.
Yeah, but I now wonder what... Because now I don't know anybody's phone number, so I wonder what the part of my brain that used to remember phone numbers, I wonder what it's doing now.
Well, the thing is, it's not doing anything because you don't need to, because your phone memorises them for you.
So that room's been emptied.
But you remember your own phone number, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah, because I give it out enough. Not now, though, folks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you fancy going through some stuff another time,
Yeah.
you know, if we say pick one, maybe pick your Sindhu sesh, and
Stick it in a room.
well, just I'll go through it with you and suggest which bit goes where, and how to memorise that particular bit. If you know what I mean.
Well, it's probably not good doing that one because I just know it.
Go and get some kitchen roll before you give us all fucking pneumonia.
Sorry, I don't know where it came from.
It came out your nose. There's kitchen roll. Get kitchen roll. It's thicker.
All right.
He says as he heads to the bathroom, folks. Which is bathroom roll.
What were you going to say? Sorry.
I don't know, I completely forgot.
Well, let's drag it back. I mean, have you got a particular building that you know well enough to put together?
I'd have to think about that, actually.
Yeah.
I don't use any big buildings anymore.
Well, it doesn't need to be a big building. I mean, it could be a pub with lots of rooms.
I know you're talking.
Yeah, or it could be your actual own house that you used to have. I assume that's 3 bedrooms. 2 rooms downstairs or 3 rooms downstairs?
2 rooms,
Only
kitchen,
2 rooms
cellar.
upstairs. Oh, there you are. There you go. Yeah. See, another place I could use, which might actually work better for me, is a house I used to live in, and that was haunted.
Oh,
But it wasn't a scary ghost.
back to ghosts again,
It was
which we did the other week.
It was what's called a benign ghost. Yeah, Henry they called him. Yeah. Well, I didn't know anything about him. Mum told me about him after I left home. I think she deliberately waited till I left home before she told me. Yeah. So I mean that one's amazing because it's well, I've seen the pictures. There are 2 rooms as you walk in the corridor. Big lounge there, a teeny lounge there, the cellar's there. Along there is the kitchen. Beyond there is the dining room. Beyond there is the kitchen, and beyond there is a kind of a utility room, for want of a better expression. And then outside is an outside toilet. So that's the start. And then there are 5 bedrooms and a bathroom upstairs. So
Well, that's going to do you.
there's lots and lots of rooms because I could use that.
Yeah, I could use my old house.
I lived there for a while. But yeah. Kev could do with the Mind Palace. We could do with a mind. What's the word I'm thinking about? A mind magician.
And could do with a minder.
Yeah, I'm that. Yeah.
Could do with the sandwich. Jack.
Oh yeah, if someone gave you a sandwich, now you'd eat it.
No.
Yeah. So, yeah. Do you think you'd like to try the,
I'd have to give
try
that.
the technique? Yeah.
Yeah, I'd give that a go with some with that other stuff than songs, really. But yeah,
Well, whatever, anything.
Yeah.
You know.
I keep saying I've got a garden shed. Well, I used to have a garden shed in the old home. Yeah, so I could put something in there as well, because that's another room.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't remember which one it was. I used a house I used to live in. And I started in the garden.
All right.
Started in the garden, come in the back door. Yes, that was... Because I was using 2 or 3 different mind palaces because I was trying to learn 2 or 3 songs at the same time. Yeah. So, what's your aide to memoir?
No idea.
Oh, don't tell me,
forgotten.
you can't remember.
How did you guess? Well done, Patrick. Aye?
Yeah, the only way you're ever going to remember anything is by writing it down.
Probably.
But the trouble is, you forget where you've written it, even though I bought you a 25-foot wide diary,
Yeah.
that you probably don't know where it is right now.
Well,
No, well, I bet you couldn't find that diary if I gave you half an hour.
I know where my diary is.
Oh, that's good.
Not your diary.
What's
No.
funny or interesting for me is that if I write something down to remember it, I remember it then.
Oh, yeah,
but if I
that's-
don't write it down,
Yeah.
then I don't.
Funny,
but
isn't it?
Well,
yeah,
that
because I
was-
go, I don't need to write that down. I'll remember it, and then I can't remember it. But if I
Yeah.
write it down,
Yeah. Well, when I used to attend lectures at university, teacher training college, they said, look, you might think you can memorise all this. You might want to be taping it on your what do you call those things? Recorders.
dictaphone.
Well, I don't think we could afford dictaphones, but we had these portable cassette players. That's what I'm looking for. So they said the best help to memory is to write down what's being said as it's being said, because if you're writing it down and listening to it, you're much more likely to remember it. So that technique's correct.
Well, it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like Flora and that for me. I wouldn't be able to keep up with speaking.
Well, you don't write it all down. If you don't do shorthand, you don't write it all down. You write down bullet points.
Yeah.
You write down the most important word. You got to pick up. You got to pick up the 3 or 4 most important words in the sentence and put those down. Invent your own shorthand. You know, that's the way to do it.
What amazes me is how people can remember songs.
Well, the thing is with songs is that you listen to them enough. It's like when we're
Just
doing
locks
ours and the audience know them. It's because they just listen to them all the time.
Yeah,
They
but
pick them up.
also,
Yeah, but you sing loads, don't you?
but that's not the point. What you're saying is people remember songs. Songs usually have tunes. Our songs aren't really songs, are they? They're poems.
Yeah.
They're poems to a background.
Yeah.
Okay. So that it makes it more difficult. If there were tunes, then your brain equates words to notes in the tune. With the rap, it doesn't.
So as because we're writing them, because we create them, then we don't really need to learn them.
Well, you would think.
Except I've not done it for a while.
No.
Yeah, but it's like all the famous bands, like the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, and you remember all their songs. It's just
There's
incredible, isn't it? Really?
There's a time Elton John was at some guy's house, some famous actor's house, and the actor relates this story. And Elton John's there, and then this actor had a piano. Can't remember which actor it was, obviously a famous actor. And this actor had a piano. And he was saying, funny enough, he's saying this to on the Graham Norton show. And so Elton John's like, oh, you got a piano? And Elton John, generally, he said, would you like me to do a song for you? He went, yeah. And he went, well, which one would you like? And the actor thought, well, I'm not going to say Crocodile Rock or some shit like that. I'm going to let him know I'm a real fan and get one from one of his albums, you know. So I forget what he said it was. He went, you know, oh, can you do One More Arrow? And Elton John went, fucking hell, I can't remember that.
That is fun.
That's a
though.
good story, yeah.
That's the cracker.
Good story. Elton, where's your mind palace, son?
Brilliant.
On holiday today, I think.
Do you hear that he's gone blind?
Ah, yeah, I saw it on the news the other day.
Yeah, I thought I'd heard that. I thought it was some...
Shocker.
I thought I'd
Who's
misread it.
gone
Elton John.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Losing his eyesight.
Yeah.
A shame.
God, he's only just retired as well, hasn't
How
he?
old is he? 60?
Yeah, because when I... No, he's in his 70s.
Oh.
Because when I didn't read the article, I just saw the headline, and what it said is, I will not see my sons grow up. And I thought we was talking about his age. But then someone said, no, he's going blind, so that's what he must have meant, is he
Yeah.
won't see them grow up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So what? It's got to be something seriously wrong now, because people in the 90s still got their eyesight.
Yeah, well, I don't know, I'd have to...
Yeah, I did notice an article fleetingly on the news sometime, but I didn't pick up the details.
Quite sad, that, isn't it? He's just
Yeah.
retired, and he could have enjoyed his money and everything. And
Yeah, it's really
Oh,
is.
he'll still enjoy his money, don't worry about that.
But it's a shame, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think the worst thing is watching his sons grow up, because they're entertaining, but they're not making any noise. You know.
well, it's like you going out to your car now and then, but you've got to shut your eyes.
oh,
Get
yeah.
to the car. Frighten the life out of you.
Yeah, because I had a mate that lost his eyesight. He actually, I've got two stories up people going by. One lost his eyesight in one eye. He lost it when he was a kid, and then he got attacked and he lost his sight in the other. And he said he's going to an eye hospital, but in America. And I went, oh, America. He went, yeah, I've always wanted to go to America. He said, and now I'm going, I'm not going to fucking see it, am I? I thought, but the other story is actually quite amusing. There was a guy, and he had lost his sight in one eye because when he was a kid, he had an elder brother, and his mates had an air rifle. You know where this is going, don't you?
Yeah.
And so they got him to hold the target up because he couldn't pin it to a so I shouldn't laugh. Anyway, hit him in the eye and made him blind. Anyways, years and years and years later, the guy's now in his 60s, and he was diabetic. And he came away with us, and he was drinking and in the sun and everything, and he lost his sight in his other eye. So he went to the Moorfields, it's called, isn't it? He went there, and they said, oh, we can't save your eye. I said, but the one you lost when you were a kid, we now have the technology, the capability, and how to use the thing, to bring you the sight back in that eye. So he went, oh, yeah, well, so he said, you will, crack on. So they did. Obviously, it took a long time for it to come back. The thing is, for 50-odd years, he'd been seeing out of his left eye. And then all of a sudden, he's now seeing out of his right eye. He is bumping into so much furniture because he thinks he's seeing there.
Yeah.
So he kept banging into things.
Amazing.
You don't think, do you? But yeah, when you shift that, it moves.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, there's a few tricks you can play with yourself with eyes and line yourself up and think, oh, hang on, it's over there. And you go, oh, no, it isn't, it's over there.
Well, when you think about what happens to people, it's amazing. You know, they get problems with the liver and all sorts. Sorry.
Yeah, because I've lost my hearing in one ear, and that gets confusing because if someone's over here and they shout "Norm," I always go because I'm hearing it here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's really
Weird, yeah.
And it's no putting the headphones on and listening to Bohemian Rhapsody is shit.
Well, yeah, but it's not in stereo. So
Oh yeah, well, yes it is.
It is, but not in your ears.
No, so all I get is Galileo. Galileo.
Yeah.
Oh, Mia. Devil put aside for
My old man
shit when you've only got one ear.
my old man experimented with the stereo years ago when it first came out, because he was kind of into what was called hi-fi in those days,
Yeah.
and he had a fairly expensive turntable and stuff, and the BBC used to do special stereophonic broadcasts.
Yeah, they did.
And he was fascinated by it. And I can't remember whether it was him that explained or whether I saw it on television about how hi-fi works on a record, so that you get stereo, where the needle goes up and down to give you one channel, and side to side to give you the other one.
Oh, right. The early days of that.
Yeah, well, I think it's still the case now.
Do you remember the
With
film Rollerball? Do you remember that film?
I do remember it. I don't think I saw it all.
Yeah, well, I went to the cinema to see that. It's one of the first films I ever saw.
Yeah.
And it was filmed in quadraphonic sound.
Oh my goodness, that'd be amazing.
And if you know the premise of it, basically, it's a metal ball is shot out of a can. It goes round and round, and then when it falls onto the track, they pick it up and they beat each other senseless to try and get it in the basket. Basically, like basketball, but with a lot of violence. They filmed it in sound surround, as they called it, so that when the ball shoots out, you can hear it coming from the back of the cinema.
Oh, yeah.
So it goes, and then it goes across the screen, but it comes onto the screen as the sound comes on. Then it goes across the screen, then you can hear it going around again, and then it goes back onto the screen, and that's like fucking phenomenal. It is.
Yeah, sounds good.
Not that brilliant when you watch it on television.
No, but it wouldn't be, would you? You haven't got quadro, unless you got a quadro at home. You can't
well,
get them.
back in the day, no.
Yeah. No.
So you watch it on television, and you hear it go, and there's nothing on your television screen. And then it goes.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah,
Well, I remember. I think the first 3D movie I ever went to watch was quite recent. And I've not really watched a 3D movie. And then we went to Star City and we watched, I think it was Alice in Wonderland with Johnny Depp.
Oh, right, it's 3D, is it?
And the first thing that impressed me was a bloody butterfly was flitting about like this. And suddenly it was in my face. It just went whoosh like that. And I literally flinched. Went, whoa. It was, honestly, it was so realistic. I couldn't believe it.
Amazing.
Yeah. But I've been in pictures since then.
So you see...
I used to love going to the cinema.
I was there every Saturday morning when I was a kid.
Oh, it's still worth going. Still worth going.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the big screen, everything's life-size. And
Yeah.
you're watching it on there. It's not the same.
No. See, this thing here, Kev, it's a microphone. It only works if you're talking to it. All right, there's a good chap.
What the shit was that?
Somebody laughing.
Oh.
I'd rather talk to yours, mate.
Yeah, the cinema's great to go to. So yeah, I mean, some films you have to see on the cinema. They're designed for it.
I know, yeah. Well, I mean, my film. People ask me what's the film I've made, and I tell them, I said, but you got to watch it on a big screen. I know it's only a crime drama, but there are some scenes on there that are so amazing on a big screen. All right, don't watch it on your phone. The phone doesn't do it justice.
Yeah.
And the opening scene's probably the best one because it's a drone shot.
Oh yeah, they're
It's
great.
literally a drone shot going around the prison, the Shrewsbury prison. And when I first saw that, actual footage on the big screen, I couldn't believe my eyes. I mean, we're dead pleased to get the boy doing the drone footage for us. But his contributions were absolutely fantastic, honestly.
Well, we went to the prison, didn't we?
Yeah.
There was a report in the paper about younger people not watching big blockbuster films now, and because they watch things on their phones, and you can't watch a blockbuster film on your phone because they're they're too long for them and all that, and they're just like short snippets that they can look at on their phone. They don't like to sit and watch something
lazy buggers
for hours now.
I know. It's the trouble today, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just different generation. Isn't it? I'm pretty sure our parents were like a bloody bone idlers. Look, you're talking about us, you know.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
Yeah, what they lot is they need a war. My dad used to say that to me. You don't need a war.
Could do without that.
Yes, oh yeah, that'd solve the problems, Dad, wouldn't it?
No, my old man never said that. I think he knew how bad it was. He was lucky to escape it, to be honest.
Yeah. But if it wasn't for the Second World War, I wouldn't be here.
You mentioned that the other
Because
day.
Dad and they all came over because our lads were out fighting. And they came over from Ireland to work in London. So they met in London, both from Ireland.
Yeah.
And there you go. And then they have 8 kids.
Well, there were no television in those days, were there?
Yeah, and winters were cold, no central heating.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but you know what? The houses in those days, even the tatty two up and two downs, were made with such thick brick that the lounge fire it virtually heated the whole bloody
Well, it
house.
did warm the whole place. Because I remember we used to have the old fire on. What's one of my jobs was to light the thing.
Yeah.
Put the coal in and collect it from the outside.
Yeah, we had a coal shed. And Coleman used to come deliver coal. I remember my job to go and get it.
I was explaining to my grandson about coal. Why did it come up? Because I was on about... I can't remember what it was now. About what made things... Oh, yeah, steam trains.
Oh, right.
Steam trains, yeah. Because he was saying to me, Abu, your car is so quiet. It's an electric racing car. I say, yeah, and what do cars run on that aren't electric? Petrol. Yeah, right. But what do trains run on? Electric. I said, but what about ones that have steam coming out the top? Oh, he couldn't remember. He said, well, it's called coal. And it's like black rock, but it burns. Oh, I said, and in fact, when I was a little boy, we had a fireplace and we burnt coal to keep the house warm. So I'm explaining this and said, and in fact, we used to keep the hot coal in a special place because where I used to live, there was a hole in the pavement.
Yeah, they drop it
with
down.
a grid, and they drop it down into literally a box, well, topless box, obviously, where you get your coal scuttle, top it up, and take it up to the room. So I was trying to explain that to him, but you can't take him and show him the actual place itself because he'd find it fascinating.
It's amazing how what's changed since we were kids, isn't it? Amazing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're not allowed to burn coal anywhere in the UK now.
Smokeless, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I had an open fire. And we'd get coal.
But it was lovely in the old days, wasn't it? To go around the fire. I used to love it.
Fucking freezing, man.
I never thought of
I think we get rose-coloured spectacles sometimes. Because I remember, well, it was also my job to light the fire in the morning.
Yours?
Yeah, it was my job. So I had to come in freezing cold it was.
Yeah. Our warmest rooms was the lounge and the kitchen.
Oh, fairly obvious, really.
Actually, in the winter, I could see my breath.
Yeah.
Downstairs while I was getting the coal out and it was out of the backyard, so I had to go out and outside, bring it in. And
that was a big drawback with coal fires, was actually getting them started in the morning in the cold weather.
Well, you can get thingies now, can't you? You shut the door on it, it'll keep going all night.
Yeah.
So,
quite useful.
It's amazing, isn't it? How we go from a mind palace to coal.
Coal hole. Yeah.
How you say, folks? Well,
The
listen
thing
to
is,
bollocks.
I mean, talking about my grandson is quite relevant because he has to memorise things. He doesn't realise he's doing it, because he's a baby, but he comes out with stuff that proves he's been listening
Oh, yeah.
on previous occasions, and he just comes out with them like that, and you think, God, he didn't know. That was a week ago we told him that, and he's remembered it, from a one-off description or whatever. I can't remember the details, but yeah, he's got his own mind palace.
Yeah. Well, when we're sort of young like that, our brains are still growing and they can be... So they absorb the information.
Oh, yeah. He's brilliant. No, the brain is an amazing organ, for want of a better expression. I read an article. I read a book actually, but the article in the book was about how little of the capacity of the brain we actually use.
I'd heard about that.
And we could utilise a lot more. And if we did that, I think we wouldn't need the bloody mind palace, because your mind would be the palace, if you know what I mean. So they reckon it's like an iceberg. 1/5 is above the water. That's your conscious mind, and 4/5 is below, as in an iceberg, and that's your subconscious mind. But this book was teaching me technique for. It was to do with, I'm sure it was to do with memory or other stuff similar. But what you're supposed to do is talk out loud. Are you cold?
No, my hands, those fingers are just froze up.
It's because you've got your elbow on there. If you hold your arm out like that.
Yeah, your arm.
Yeah, but hold a microphone in front of your mouth.
Okay.
What you're supposed to do, apparently your subconscious brain believes what your conscious brain says.
Oh, yeah.
All right?
I've heard about that,
So
yeah.
you should never say anything negative about yourself. You should never call yourself blah, blah, blah. You should never call yourself useful, useless, or whatever. You should program your subconscious by telling it stuff that's positive. So there's this thing called affirmations. I thought it was on the bollocks when I first heard about them. But when I read about why in this book, it made every bit of sense. My daughter's currently in that phase where she's going through that kind of thing, where she's trying to expand her brain, and she's doing a good job.
Yeah. Sorry, the Jim Carrey story about how he did something similar, where he wrote himself a check. He wasn't doing well at all, He wrote himself a check for $10 million. Right? Put it in his wallet, and kept it. But he said to himself, "I'm going to cash that. I will cash that." And something like 5 years later, he did.
Walked in the bank, said, "Yeah, I'll take the cash, please."
Yeah, but he said he believed his success was doing that, because then he said, "I will cash that check." He gave it to focus on it, and he made one of his early films. He got paid $10 million for it.
Brilliant.
Well done, Jim. Well done.
Yeah, we'll work on that. How much do we what we're doing next?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm a great believer in it, though. I think if you...
Yeah, it's a mindset. Isn't it?
Yeah. I used to listen to kind of motivational cassettes. And one of them, the title of it was Attitude. I forget, a strange title, but it is about attitude. And it's about attitude to adversity and to your own abilities and all that sort of stuff. And if you get that right, and one of the things that comes up in this little cassette is quite funny. It says, you have to imagine you've got a little man sat on your shoulder, right? And you kind of almost check in with him before you say or do anything. All right? And then when you just been proper, you turn around and say, "Yeah, what I told you." You know what I mean? You've got somebody there that's corroborating what you're doing or telling you not to do it or whatever.
Bit like engage brain.
Sorry?
Engage brain before speaking.
Yeah, that sort of stuff, yeah. But my missus kind of does that because her old man died relatively young. He was 58, I think. But I mean, he'd been a huge war hero, and he was a Spitfire part. So goodness me, 18 years old, flying 600 mile an hour. You know.
Well, it was amazing, those guys.
I know.
How they did that.
But he died at 58, and it wasn't through adrenaline stuff. It was some kind of cancer. Anyway, she likes to imagine when something's going on or something's happening that's modern technology, right? She likes to say to him, "Oh, what do you think about that, Dad?" Like I said about FaceTime, where you can talk to someone 7,000 miles away in real time for no money.
Yeah.
You equate that to my grandma and a box of milk. Bless her.
That's amazing, though, how it's moved on. Technology
Yeah.
in a very short space of time.
Oh, yeah.
Not many years, is it?
No.
All since the Second World War, basically. So,
It's been quicker than that, really.
yeah, I know, but what I'm trying to say, he got all the wars out the way. But
We hope so,
a
don't
few
we?
of them.
Yeah.
But what a weirdo he was, Adolf Hitler, right?
That's a segue.
Yeah. Okay, we'll run by that one.
Yeah, we'll forget.
We'll.
Sorry about that.
Okay, then. That's all for this week, folks.
Yeah, tea break.
Please, before our next one, get the questions in.
Loads of
Yeah.
questions.
You know we like to answer your questions,
We won't talk about the Second World War,
Don't talk about the war.
unless you ask.
of course.
But neither of us, there's three of us, none of us was there.
True.
All right. See you from the Northern Boys.
Bye for now.
Bye.